Good. We're good everywhere. We're finally good everywhere. Finally good everywhere. Hello, everybody. Hello, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all of the world. Welcome back. We are here in the Learning Corner, about to learn some more and read some more. We're reading The Mist of Avalon. We are on chapter 2 of book 1 here in this book. Now, I'm not going to lie and say it's an easy read because it is not an easy read at that at all. This is a read that really has me tongue tied and twisted up a little bit. But as I promised, we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. So we're going to jump right on into chapter 2. I'm going to stand, possibly walk around a little bit. Just bear with me here, y'all. Grabbing my bearings. It's like I just woke up, literally just woke up. Thank you, Tabby and Shauna, so much for all the love. I appreciate it. All right, chapter 2. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, wait. I don't have to yell today. Hold on, I forgot, y'all. Let me put my microphone on. These are the days of our lives. And let me know if y'all can hear me, because I want to make sure that y'all can hear me once this is plugged in here. There we go. Mic check. Can y'all hear me? Can we hear me? Are we good? Not good? I just need to know if y'all can hear me. Can I get a yes, no, maybe? Possibly some way of knowing. Okay, we can hear me. Everybody's good. All right, we can hear me. All right. Let's get back into character. Dun. Here we go. There was silence in the room, except for the small crackle of the fire. At last, Igraine heard herself draw a long breath, as if she had just wakened from a sleep. Oh, hello. What is this that you are telling me? Do you mean that Glorious is to be the father of the great king? She heard the words echoing in her mind and ringing there, and wondered why she had never suspected Gorlois. We'll figure it out. Suspected Gorlois of so great a destiny. She saw her sister and the Merlin exchange glances, and saw too the small gesture with which the priestess silenced the old man. No, Lord Merlin, a woman must say this to a woman. Igraine Glorious is Roman. The tribe will not follow any man born to a son of Rome. The high king they followed must be a child of the holy owl, a true son of the goddess. Your son, Igraine, yes, but it is not the tribe alone that will fight away the Saxons and the other wild folk from the north. We will need the support of Romans and Celtics and Syrians, and they will follow only their own war duke, their Pendragon, son of man they trust to lead them and rule. And the old people too. We seek the son of a royal mother, your son, Igraine, but the father will be Uther Pendragon. Igraine stared at them, understanding, until rage slowly broke through against the numbness. Then she flared at them. No! I have a husband, and I have borne him a child. I will not let you play again at skipping stones with my life. I married as you bade me, and you will never know. The words choked in her throat. There would never be any way to tell them of that first year. Even Vivian would never know. What wouldn't they know? She could say, I was afraid, or I was alone and terrified, or rape would have been easier because I could have run away to die afterwards. But any of those would have been only words, conveying only the smallest part of what she had felt. And even if Vivian had known the whole, touching her mind and knowing all that she could not say, Vivian would have looked on her with compassion, even a little pity, but would not have changed her mind or demanded even a little less from Igraine. She had heard her sister say it Often, even when Vivian still believed, Igraine would become priestess of the mysteries. If you seek to avoid your fate or to delay suffering, it only condemns you to suffer it redoubled in another life. Interesting, interesting. So she did not say any of those things, only glared at Vivian with the stifled resentment of the last 4 years. When she had done her duty valiantly and alone, submitting to her fate with no more outcry than any woman was allowed to make. But again, never, Igraine told herself silently, never. She shook her head stubbornly. Listen to me, Igraine, said the Merlin. I fathered you, though that give me no rights. It is the blood of the lady which confers royalty, and you are the oldest royal blood, descended from daughter to daughter of the Holy Isles. It is written in the stars, child, that only a king who comes of the two royalties, one royalty of the tribes who follow the goddess, and one royalty of those who look to Rome, will heal our land of all this strife. A peace must come when these two lands can dwell side by side, a peace long enough for the cross and the cauldron to come to such a peace. If there is such a reign as this, Igraine, even those who follow the cross will have the knowledge of the mysteries to comfort them in their bleak lives of suffering and sin, and their belief in one brief life to choose forever between hell or heaven for all eternity. Otherwise, our world will fade into the mists, and there will be hundreds of years, thousands perhaps, where the goddesses of the holy mysteries will be forgotten by all mankind except those few who can come and go between the worlds. Would you let the goddess and her work fade from this world, Igraine? You were born of the Lady of the Holy Isle and the Merlin of Britain. Igraine bent her head, barricading her mind against the tenderness in the old man's voice. She had always known, without being told, that Taliesin, Marion of Britain, had shared with her mother the spark of life, which had made her but a daughter of the Holy Isle. Do not speak of such things. A daughter of the lady belonged only to the goddess, and to that man into whose land the lady chooses to give its care. Most often her brother, only very rarely the man who had begotten it. There was a reason for this. No pious man should claim fatherhood to a child of the goddess, and all the children born to the lady were considered so. The Talesian said, use this garment now. Shocked her deeply, but it touched her too. Yet she said stubbornly, refusing to look at him. Gorlias might have been chosen Pendragon. Surely this Uther cannot be so much beyond all sons of mankind as that. If you must have such one, could you not have used your spells so that Gorlias would be acclaimed War Duke of Britain and Great Dragon? Then when our son was born, you would have had your High King. The Merlin shook his head, but again it was Vivian who spoke, and the silent collusion further angered Igraine. Why should they act in concert this way against her? Vivian said softly, you will bear no son to Gorlias, Igraine. Are you the goddess then, that you dispense childbearing to women in her name? Igraine demanded rudely, words childish. Knowing the words childish. What? Okay. Grace has fathered sons by other women. Why should I not? Excuse me. Why should I not give him one born in a wedlock, as he desires? Vivian did not answer. She only looked directly at Igraine, and said, her voice very soft, do you love Gorlias, Igraine? Igraine stared at the floor. That has nothing to do with it. It is a matter of honor. He was kind to me. She broke off, but her thoughts ran on unchecked. Kind to me when I had nowhere to turn, when I was alone and deserted, and even you had abandoned me to my fate. What is love to that? It is a matter of honor, she replied. I owe him this. He let me keep Morgane when she was all I had in my loneliness. He has been kind and patient, and for a man of this years, cannot be easy. For a man of his years, it cannot be easy. He wants a son. He believes it all important to his life and honor, and I will not deny him this. If I bear a son, it will be the son of Duke Gorius, and of no other man living. And this I swear by fire and silence! Vivian's voice, like the loud clang of the great bell, shook Igraine's words silent. I command you, Igraine, swear no oath, lest you be forever forsworn. I don't know what forsworn means, but it sounds pretty serious. And why should you think I would not keep my oath? Igraine raged. I was reared to truth. I too am a child of the Holy Owl, Vivian. You may be my elder sister and my priestesses and the Lady of Avalon, but you should not treat me as if I were a babbling child like Morgan there, who cannot understand a word of what is said to her, nor knows the meaning of an oath. Morgan's hearing her name spoken, sat bolt upright in the lady's lap. The lady of the lake smiled and smoothed the dark hair. Do not think that this little one cannot understand. Babies know more than we imagine. Facts. They cannot speak their minds, and so we believe they can, and so we believe they do not think. As your babe, well, that is for the future, and I will not speak of it before her. But who knows? One day she too will be a great priestess. Never! Not if I must become a Christian to prevent it. Igraine raged. Oh wow. Do you think I will let you plot against my child's life as you have plotted against mine? Peace, Igraine, said the Merlin. You are free, as every child of the god is free. We came to enter you. We came to entreat you, not to command. No, Vivian, he said, holding up his hand when the lady would have interrupted him. Igraine is no helpless plaything of fate. Yet I think when she knows all, she will choose rightly. Morgan had begun to fret in the lady's lap. Vivian crooned softly to her, stroking her hair, and she quieted. But Igraine rose and took her child angrily and jealous at Vivian's almost magical power to quiet the girl. In her arms, Morgan felt strange, alien, as if the time she had spent in Vivian's arms had changed her, tainted her, made her somehow less Igraine's own. Igraine felt tears burning her eyes. Morgan was all she had, and now she too was being cut off from her. Morgan was falling victim, like everyone else, to Vivian's charm, that charm which could make everyone into a helpless pawn of her will. She said sharply to Morgas, who was still lying with her head in Vivian's lap. Get up at once, Morgas, and go to your room. You are almost a woman. You must not behave like a spoiled child. Morgas rose her head, putting back her curtain of red hair from her pretty sulky face. She said, Why should you choose Igraine for your plans, Vivian? She wants no part in them, but I am a woman, and I too am a daughter of the Holy Owl. Why have you not chosen me for the Uther, the Pendragon? Why should I not be the mother of the High King? The Merlin smiled. Will you fly so recklessly in the face of fate, Morgis? Why should Igraine be chosen and not I? I have no husband. There is a king in your future and many sons, but with that, Morgaz, you must be content. No man or woman can live another one's fate. Your fate and that of your sons depends on the great High King. More than that I cannot say, said the Merlin. Enough, Morgis. Irina standing. Morgine in her arms felt more in command. She said in a dead voice, I am remiss in hospitality, my sister, my lord, Merlin. Let my servants take you to the guest chambers prepared for you, bringing you wine and water for washing, and at sundown a meal will be prepared." Vivian rose. Her voice was formal and correct, and Igraine, for a moment, was was relieved. She was again mistress of her own hearth, not a passive child, but the wife of Gorius, Duke of Cornwall. "At sunset, then, my sister." But Igraine saw the glance Vivian's exchanged with Merlin, and she could read it as clear as words. "Leave it for now. I will manage her as have I always done." As have always done. There we go. I got it. And Igraine felt her face harden into iron. This is what she always. Ah, this is what she has always done, indeed. But this time it shall not be so. I did her will once, when I was a child and knew no better. But now I am grown. I am a woman, not so easily led as the child she gave away to be Glorious's bride. Now I will do my own will, and not that of the Lady of the Lake. Servants took her guests away. Igraine in her own chambers laid Morgan in her bed and fussed around her nervously, her mind full of what she had heard. Uther Pendragon, she had never seen him, but Gorlois was full of the tales of his valor. He was a close kinsman, sister's son of Ambrosia Orlenius, High King of Britain. But unlike Ambrosius, Uther was a Briton of Britons, with no taint of Roman blood, so that the Syrian and the tribes did not hesitate to follow him. There was little doubt that one day Uther would be chosen High King. Ambrosius was not a young man. That day could not be so far. And I would be queen. What am I thinking of? Would I betray Gorlois and my own honor? Behind her, as she took up the bronze mare again, she saw her sister in the door. Vivian had taken off the breeches she wore for riding and put on a loose gown of undyed wool. Her hair hung down, soft and dark as the wool of a black sheep. She looked small and fragile and aging, and her eyes were the eyes of the priestess in the cave of initiation, years away and in another world. Igraine cut off the thought impatiently. Vivian came close to her, reaching up to touch her hair. "Little Igraine, not so little now," she said tenderly. "Do you know, little one, I gave you your name, Granine, for the goddess of the Beltane fires. How long has it been since you did service to the goddess at Beltane, Igraine?" Igraine's mouth only stretched a little. The smile went no deeper than her teeth. "Gorlois is a Roman and a Christian. Do you truly believe his household keeps the rites of Beltane?" "No, I suppose not," said Vivian, amused. "Though if I were you, I would not take oath that your servants do not slip out of midsummer to burn fires and lie together under the full moon. But Lord and Lady of the Christian household cannot do so, not in the sight of their priests and their stern and unloving God." Igraine said sharply, "You will not speak so of the God of my husband, who is a God of love. You say so, and yet has made war upon all the other gods, and slain those who will not worship him," Vivian said. "Such love we might well pray to be spared in a god. I could call upon you in the name of vows you once had. Words. I could call upon you in the name of the vows you once made to do what I have asked of you in the name of the goddess and the holy owl." "Oh, rare," Igraine said sarcastically. "Now my goddess demands of me that I shall play the harlot, and the Merlin of Britain and the Lady of the Lake will act as panders for me?" Vivian's eyes blazed. She stepped one step forward, and for a moment Igraine believed their priestess would strike her in the face. Oh wow, that got intense. That got intense. How do you dare? Vivian said, and thought her voice was soft. It seemed to raise echoes through the entire room, so that Margine, half asleep beneath Igrain's woolen plaid, sat up and cried out in a sudden fright. Now you have awakened my baby, Igraine said, and sat down on the edge of the bed, hushing the child. Gradually, the anger colored receded from Vivian's face. She sat down beside Iraine and said, "You have not understood me, Granny. Do you think Gorlewis immortal? Do you think Gorless immortal? I tell you, child, I have sought to read in the stars the destinies of those who are vital to Britain's wholeness in the years to come, and I tell you, the name of Gorlewis is not written there." Igraine felt her knees weaken and her whole body loosen at the joints. Will Uther kill him? I swear to you, Uther will have no part in his death, and when Gorlewis dies, Uther will be far away. But think, child, Tintagel is a great castle, and do you believe when Gorlewis can hold it no longer, Uther Pendragon would be slow to say, "Take the castle and the woman who holds it," to one of his ward dukes? Better Uther than one of his men. Morgan, what will become of my child, Morgise, my little sister? Truly, the woman who belongs to any man must pray that he will live to protect her. Can I not return to the Holy Owl and live out my life in Avalon as a priestess? That is not your destiny, little one, Vivian said. Her voice was tender again. You cannot hide from your fate. It is given to you to play a part in the salvation of this land, but the road of Avalon is closed to you forever. Will you walk the road to your destiny, or must the gods drag you to it unwillingly? Interesting. She did not wait for Igraine's answer. It will not take long. It will not be long. Ambrosius Arnelius is dying. For many years he has led the Britons, and now his duke will meet to choose a high king. And there is none but Uther whom they can all trust. So Uther must be Duke of War and High King, both, and he will need a son. Granny felt as if the walls of a trap were closing around her. If you make so much of this, why do you not do this thing yourself? Why not do this yourself, huh? Huh? I'm starting to get into it. To her surprise, Vivian's hesitation for a long time before saying, "Do you think I had not thought of that? But you have forgotten how old I am, Igraine. I am older than Uther, and he is not young as the warriors go. I was 26 when Morgus was born. I am 9 and 30. 9 and 30, so 39. Igraine, and I am past childbearing." No, that's not past childbearing. In the bronze mirror, somehow still in her hand, Igraine saw her sister's reflection distorted, mishap flowing like water. The image suddenly clearing, then clouding and vanishing. Igraine said, "You think so? But I tell you that you will bear another child." "I hope not," Vivian said. I am older than our mother was. I am older than our mother was when she died in bearing Morgise, and I could not now hope to escape that fate. This is the last year I shall take part in the rites of Bellatine. After this, I shall hand on my office to some woman younger than I, and become as the ancient one, the wise woman. I had hoped that one day I would hand on the place of the goddess to Morgise. Then why do you not keep her in Avalon and train her to be a priestess after you? Vivian looked very sad. She is not fit. She sees under the mantle of the goddess only power, not the unending sacrifice and suffering, and so that path is not for her. It does not seem to me that you have suffered, Iraine said. You know nothing about it. You did not choose to walk the path either. I, who have given my life to it, say still it would be simpler to live the life of a peasant woman, beast of burden, and broad mare in season. You see me robed and crowned as the goddess, triumphant beside her cauldron. You do not see the darkness of the cave or the depths of the great sea. You are not called to it, dear child, and you should thank the goddesses that your destiny is laid elsewhere. Igraine said silently, do you think I know nothing of suffering and enduring in silence after these 4 years? But she did not say the words aloud. Vivian had bent over Morgan, her face tender, stroking the little girl's silky dark hair. Ah, Iraine, you cannot know how I envy you all my life. I have so longed for a daughter. Morgise was like my own to me, the goddess knows, but always an alien to me, as if she had been born of a stranger, not my own mother. I longed for a daughter into whose hands I could reign my office, she sighed. But I bore only one girl child who died, and my sons are gone from me. She shuddered. Well, this is my destiny, which I shall try to obey as you do yours. I ask nothing of you but this, Igraine, and the rest I leave to her who is mistress of us all. When Glorious comes home again, he will go to Londinium for the choosing of the High King. Somehow you must contrive to go there with him. Igraine burst out laughing. Only this, you ask me? And this is harder than all the rest. Do you truly think that Gora Lewis would burden his men with escorting a young wife to Londinium? I would like to go there indeed, but Gore Lewis will take me thither when figs and oranges from the south grow in the garden of Tan of Tintangle. Nevertheless, somehow you must contrive to go, and you must look upon Uther Pendragon. Iraine laughed again. And I suppose you will give me a charm so that he will fall so deep in love with me that he cannot resist it? Vivian stroked her curling red hair. You are young, Igraine, and I do not think you have any idea how beautiful you are. I do not think Uther will have need of any charms. Igraine felt her body contract in a curious, frightening spasm. Perhaps I had better have the charm so that I will not shrink for him. Vivian sighed. She touched the moonstone about Irina's neck. She said, this was not Gorluis's gift to you. No, I had it from you at my wedding, you remember? You said it was my mother's. Give it to me, Vivian reached out under the curling hair at Irina's neck and unfastened the chain. When this stone comes back to you, Irina, remember what I said, and do as the goddess prompts you to do. Irina looked at the stone in the hands of the priestess. She sighed, but she did not protest. I have promised her nothing, she told herself fiercely. Nothing. Will you go to Londinium for the choosing of the High King, Vivian? The priestess shook her head. I go to the land of another king, who does not yet know that he must fight at the side of Uther, Ban of Armonico, in Les Britain, is being made High King of his land, and in token his druids have told him that he must make the great rite. I am sent to officiate in the sacred marriage. I thought Brittany was a Christian land. Oh, it is so, Vivian said indifferently, and his high priests will ring their bells and anoint him with their holy oils and tell him that his God has made the sacrifice for him, that the people will not accept a king who is not himself vowed to the great sacrifice. The green drew a deep breath in. I know so little. In the old days, Igraine, Vivian said, the High King was bound with his life to the fortress of the land and pledged, as every Merlin of Britain is pledged, that if the land comes upon disaster or perilous times, he will die, that the land may live. And should he refuse this sacrifice, the land would perish. I should not speak of this. It is a mystery, but in your own way. Igraine, you two are offering your life for the healing of this land. No woman knows when she lies down to childbirth whether her life will not be demanded of her at the hands of the goddesses. I too have lain bound and helpless, with the knife at my throat, knowing that if death took me, my blood would redeem the land. Her voice trembled into silence. Rain too was silent in awe. A part of a less Britain too has withdrawn into the midst, and the great shire of stones cannot now be found. The avenue leading to the shire is empty stone, unless the way to Carnock is known, Vivian said. But King Ban has pledged to keep the worlds from drifting apart, and the gateways open to the mysteries. And so he will make the sacred marriage with the land, in token that if there is need, his very blood will be spilled to feed the crops. It is fitting that my last service to the mother before I take my place among the wise women shall be to bind his land to Avalon. And so I am to be the goddess to him in this mystery. She was silent, but for Igraine the room was filled with the echo of her voice. Vivian bent over and picked up the sleeping Morgan in her arms, holding her with great tenderness. She is not yet a maiden, and I not yet a wise woman, she said. But we are the three, Irene. Together we make up the goddesses, and she is her present among us. Oh, and she is here present among us. Irina wondered why she had not named their sister Morgaz, and they were so open to one another that Vivian heard the words as if Igraine had spoken them aloud. She said in a whisper, and Igraine saw her shiver. The goddesses has a fourth face, which is secret, and you should pray to her, as I do, Irina, that Morgaz will never wear that face. That was it. That was chapter 2, everybody. Boom. Just like that. We're slowly but surely getting this book done. Chapter 2 is done, y'all. Actually, super stoked. Way better than yesterday. We're getting there. So tomorrow we will read chapter 3. Hope y'all are ready. Like I said, this is a different type of read, but it's getting good. It's starting to get good. So, 1 second here, TikTok. All right, YouTube, I want to thank y'all so much for stopping by at the Learning Corner here with me, Kristopher, motherfucking McCoy, Superman, reading to y'all. I will see y'all lovely people later. Hopefully you like, comment, share, and subscribe. I will see y'all later, YouTube. Peace and love. Peace and love. Bye.